Hello, YouTube. Good afternoon. This is Uncle Bear coming to you with another little short video. I just been seeing a lot of things on social media lately, and I know I talked about it in a couple of videos earlier about how just being promiscuous and the whole OnlyFans culture is kind of hurting America, in my opinion. But there's another piece of the puzzle that I want to talk about, and that's pretty much the love of money and how I just believe with all my heart that that's just something that's crippling this country right now, even as we're going through a recession right now. So, I'm from Tennessee. I'm kind of from Nashville, just on the outskirts of it, but I grew up here, so I kind of watched the city, grow from being basically kind of just a business town to more of like a smaller Las Vegas. At least that's what they try to call. It's like they call it Nash Vegas now, even though it's not who we are. But besides all that, I kind of wanted to just talk about, at least on my point of view, on what were the causes of, just the recession and inflation in Nashville. You know, I want to say like 2012, 2013 was kind of like getting into a golden age of Nashville just popping off. Um, what I saw was, housing was cheaper. Jobs were coming in and, good jobs, that you could actually afford to take care of your families, and food and everything was still pretty much at a decent price. So, me personally, I don't have a college degree or anything. So I make a living just off of serving. And so, I know some people they look down on that because of the title, but, I met some servers that made like six figures. You know what I mean? It just depends on like where you're at and what the location is. But for me, I felt like, if I could, stay on my own or stay in an apartment or whatever, just being a server, then I must be doing pretty good or life must be pretty decent at that time. So what I noticed was over the last 10, 11 years or so, everybody just started coming here at once from everywhere, from California to New York, Florida, Chicago, Texas. They just came from everywhere. It seemed like, and I get it. Like you hear that life is good in a certain area. Tourism increased and people want to come and check it out. The land was really cheap compared to other states, and I think that attracted a lot of people. Um, so what I've noticed is that a lot of the people that moved here, obviously, if you move from California or New York, especially, the prices are just not the same at all. The cost of living is just night and day. So what I heard on the streets is that basically, um, a lot of those people moved here with the option of working from home, and so they couldn't afford to stay where they were at, or they got sick and tired of staying where they were at, and they decided to check out other places. And Nashville was one of those places that they wanted to check out. And they basically moved here and said, "Well, it's real cheap down here." I went from paying $3,000 or whatever, just making up a number, paying $3,000. Now I'm paying, 1,500 or 1,200. Like to them, it was just real cheap, and they got the opportunity to still make the money that they were making back in their hometowns in New York or California, which the pay is different there compared to here. So they were able to keep their pay, but basically benefit off of the cheap prices. Well, that's all good and dandy for them, but what about the people who are actually from here, who actually work here according to the wage? We got kicked out, or we began to get pushed out just further and further, while you let other people who aren't from here just take over. At least that's what I saw. And honestly, I thought it was just kind of dirty work, because I mean, I get it, America's all about that dollar and all that type of stuff, but at what point do you just be reasonable and try to not make it all about that dollar? At one point, when do you ask, hey, maybe I should, make these prices in terms of, if I'm having a business or whatever, make these prices to where like people can afford them, or a reason why you can still make a profit other than just being straight up greedy. And so I understand that we're in a recession right now, inflation's gone up and stuff like that. But let's be honest here. Like, my father taught me about inflation a long time ago when I was a kid, just, more so how to prepare for it. And, it was good advice, but the whole time I kept thinking is my thought process behind that as far as inflation was, is that, you know what? It just sounds like a bunch of greedy people up top that just want to be more greedy, and it's causing a dominoes effect. Now, me personally, the Constitution states that we're supposed to protect our nation both from foreign and domestic enemies. To me, when I hear these people up top that are making these decisions that are causing a dominoes effect on like the little guy, my question is, why do you get to do all these things and get away with it? Are you not a person just like we are? You come across as if you're a god, which that ego is killing this country. The ego is get more money and you get more status, so you can, and that's all we care about. We have forgotten how to be the United States of America. We've been bamboozled into just thinking of me, myself, and I, and as long as I'm getting mine, I'm good. Well, the truth is, if I raise my prices and you raise your prices and this person raises prices, eventually you're kind of screwing yourselves over, because the truth is there's only so many jobs or careers as far as making like real money. you know you still need people that work at gas stations, you still need people that work at Walmart or Kroger's or wherever. And yeah, you could say, oh, we got these robots coming out. Guess what? You need people to maintain the robots. So my point is, like, we've gotten to this place where we got this me, myself, and I mindset that says, this is my business or whatever. I'm just going to jack up the prices because I can't keep up with inflation. What needs to happen is the people who cause the dominoes effect need to be checked, in my opinion. Whether it be by local government or federal government, they just need to be checked. And so I feel like we, the people, need to do a better job as far as paying attention to who we're voting for and why we're voting for them. Besides just I want to identify with something. No, like what are they actually doing? Because we are suffering for it as a group. And so I recently shout out to Perky. She's a pretty big popular YouTuber. I saw a video or one of her videos where it basically showed where I guess a gas station or whatever shop it was charging people to use the bathroom. So basically, you had to buy something in the store in order to use the restroom. Now, I get it. You don't want people loafing around or whatever, but we all just have those emergencies where it's like, I gotta go. And and maybe I don't have money. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand why people like, you know, we've gotten to the point where we're trying to charge for everything. And to me, that's very dangerous because I mean, some things got to be free. Like again, and for the people that say, "Oh, we'll just work harder," like no, the truth is, we only got 24 hours a day. Now we can all try our best to get ahead of the game, but I guarantee you, if I figure out a way to make $150,000, they're going to keep upping stuff regardless. So that's not the answer to it. You're not going to kill me to make. I'm already working my butt off. I'm already working my butt. I've already given you every little bitty thing that I've got. So working harder to me is not the solution. It's, are we being reckless with our money and how we're spending it? Let's talk about Kamala Harris. You know, she just got done campaigning and whatnot to become president of the United States, and she lost. But when I'm hearing how she kind of mismanaged her money in terms of paying off these celebrities, I mean, and then got into debt, to me, that's like the problem. I mean, you're letting those type of people rule the country and make decisions that are having a dominoes effect over everyone, all for the sake of being included. I just don't care about that no more. We need to get back to some fundamental, just courtesy rules. Like, hey, like, yeah, this is the American dream. We're supposed to be here to like, um, make a name for ourselves and to be able to take care of our families. But now it's turned to, how can I outdo somebody or get more? Like it's all about that ego, and that ego is killing this country, like for sure. But I think a few weeks back I saw this union worker or union president. He basically worked at, I guess it's North Folk area on the East Coast, and he basically threatened to shut down his company If his employees didn't get like a 70-some% raise or something like that. Um, I didn't really care what his reasoning for. Your decision is going to affect the entire country, or at least most of it. Because that affects businesses and people that's actually trying to make it in the middle of a recession. So when I was listening to this dude just yap at his jaws, in my mind, I was like, dude, somebody needs to just whoop this dude. Like, I don't care if you are a mobster. I don't care if you got 7,000, 10,000 people underneath you. You're threatening millions of people. So I ask you, like, who are you to make such a decision? That's a terrorist threat, in my opinion. Like, ain't no way you get the balls to shut down the whole East Coast just because you're greedy. Well, if we give you what you want, what's gonna stop you from doing that again? Like, I can give you what you want, your 77% raise. I guarantee you 2 years from now, you're gonna keep doing the same thing. Whether you like it or not, we pay you to run your business. During COVID, and I can't speak for the whole nation, but in Nashville and around hometown, it seemed like there was just a bunch of jobs that were hiring and desperate to hire people. I'm talking about, I think I saw like a Dippin' Dots hiring for like $18, $19 an hour. You know what I mean? It's like a little ice cream shop. Why? Because they were that desperate to get help. So no matter how much you business owners yap talking about, you act like you don't care about your employees or act like you don't need us. Like, I think COVID proved that you do need us. We need each other is what I'm trying to say. I need you to make a living and you need us to get products out or to get production out of us. There's no need to abuse either or just for the sake of ego. For those that are making billions of dollars or millions of dollars, I mean, how much more money do you really need other than just to satisfy your ego? I understand business is business, but I got something for you in a second. Just give me a second. So for me, I've been reading scripture a lot, and a lot of the scripture that comes to my mind is that the love of money is the root of all evil. Not money itself. Money is just a tool. You can use it to do whatever you can use it for good or bad. But the love of money is where people get into trouble because once you start loving it, then you start doing anything for it, including prostitution or OnlyFans or selling drugs or murdering somebody. That you'll just do anything for it. So, you know, what I'm trying to say is, I mean, we used to be, at least in Tennessee, I can't speak for the rest of the country, but in Tennessee, we used to be known as the buckle of the Bible Belt. And just over the years, I've seen it turn into Little Nash Vegas, and I feel like we've forgotten just who we are and why, our parents raised us a certain way or whatnot. And we let other people who aren't familiar with us or the culture just come in and try to put their 2 cents in, but they don't share our same values. In fact, a lot of people that were at least because like I said, I'm a server. I meet people from all over the world. Those people that claim to come from California or New York or wherever that actually move here. A lot of them keep saying like, yeah, we got tired. We got tired of living in those environments. We were trying to get away. Well, while you're getting away, why are you all coming here and then trying to, make us change our laws to fit what that would kind of mimic California, for example? That don't make no sense. I don't care what California did. You left there for a reason. You left there to escape. So shouldn't you get in line as far as like if you're coming here and you're saying that you love it here, why are you trying to change what made you love it here? Is what I'm trying to say. Don't understand it. Like I've watched this stuff for 10 years. I watched it go from wow, everybody came and enjoyed it. Now it's like a ghost town because it's really hard. Like the inflation and recession is really hitting this state hard right now. I know it's hitting everywhere else, but I don't see everywhere else. I just see here because it's my home. So one thing that I wanted to kind of bring up was, you know, growing up, the movie "It's a Wonderful Life" was kind of just played in my household, and it was just a well-known movie for me in my household, and a very popular American movie. I understand that it's old, black and gray kind of a movie, but for the younger people and for anybody that just wants a refresher on that, here it's snowing right now in Tennessee and in my home county and stuff. If you got time, I suggest that you go look at that movie again. Um, there's a lot in that movie that that can help lift up somebody's morale. But the one thing that kind of stuck out to me in that movie was George Bailey, his character. He went up against kind of a bully in the mortgage company world. His name was Mr. Potter. Mr. Potter, he was just trying to make a buck. He didn't care if the people lived in dumps or in the ghettos. He was going to overcharge and get as much money as he could. And throughout the whole movie, he's trying to get George Bailey to basically, sell him his business or get rid of it. That way, Mr. Potter wouldn't have any competition. And so, to me, that's what's happened in Nashville. There's a group of people who I don't even think are from America, to be honest. I think they're making a lot of rules that don't benefit the people, and they don't care if we're struggling because they're just here to make some money. They don't care that we're struggling. And my point is, we let them. Um, I'm not going to put all the blame on politicians because they have to answer to somebody too. So, um, you know, another scripture that me personally had a hard time um, kind of digesting because me personally, I don't just follow anybody. If you're talking nonsense or being a bully or whatever, I don't feel obligated to follow you because usually those people lead you to destruction. You know what I mean? But I'm reading scripture, and in Hebrews chapter 13, verse 17, it says to obey them that have the rule over you and submit yourselves, for they watch for your souls as they must give an account, that they may do it with joy and not with grief, for that is unprofitable for you. So the way I took that is this: we're supposed to submit to authority figures because that represents our submission unto God. You know, one of my favorite movies kind of growing up was Troy with Brad Pitt and Achilles and all that. And I loved Achilles' defiance against this stupid king, this kind of greedy king that was all about him. From Achilles' standpoint, it was about, the soldiers won that battle. You just kind of sat back there and just kind of watched us get killed and slaughtered, and then you took all the glory. I felt that because a lot of companies do that. They work you to death, and then once they get what they want, you're just a number to them. So I felt that. However, if you're trying to be a believer or a follower of the truth and way, we are to submit to these leaders because these leaders, even though they may abuse us, they have to be accountable unto God, whether they realize it or not, on how they've treated us. So for all you billionaires and millionaires and people that think you're just doing it because you got a lot of money, you will be held accountable for how you've treated your employees, the people that God allowed you to give jobs and to have authority over. You will be held accountable. So, um, you know, I just think that we as a country, again, I kind of mentioned in the other video about, being promiscuous and just how, everybody's just ruled around sex in a way like that's killing this country. I know some people don't disagree with that, but it is killing this country. It's just kind of crazy right now how people are acting and treating each other when it comes to that. But the other part is definitely about money and, having this prostitute mindset to do anything for the dollar. You know, like I said before, y'all, I could start a business and I have every right to charge that business. But that's why I say go back and look at A Wonderful Life, that movie. It's an awesome movie. In fact, I can't remember his name, but the George Bailey character, the guy in real life, he basically ended up going to war and he ended up having like PTSD because of the things he saw in war. And he said himself that making this movie basically helped. It was like therapeutic for him. And I can see why, because you can, when you're watching a movie, you can kind of see like the pain and rage in his eyes as he's even acting, that something else is going on with him. But I highly suggest to go look at that movie during this time, and don't just get inspired of it. Use it as a way to maybe just do a self evaluation. If you're a business owner Like which guy am I? Am I the George Bailey character, or am I the Potter character? Am I doing this for greed and just ego, or am I doing this so that this could have a positive impact in my community? Because, like I said, guys, we used to be the United States of America. Don't let greed blind you from that. I understand money. I get people are all about that money. But honestly, when you die, can you even take it with you? You know? So, like, I highly encourage you all to think about these things, because the only reason why we're in inflation, because it's a dominoes effect. This person raises the price, and this person raises the price, and it just never ends, you know? So instead of letting these people dictate the pace that are 9 times out of 10 greedy and egotistical and don't really care about you like that, instead of them just letting have all the power, why don't you do what you can, talk amongst each other, and say that, you know what, we're going to do things a different way. I'm going to give you an example. So back in like 2012, 2013, I had some ideas that involved the real estate game, because, Nashville, or just in Middle Tennessee in general, the housing market was just ripe for the picking. I mean, the houses were so cheap, and they were primed for just like flipping. So I told some of my friends and family and some church members that, so I feel like we need to do this, so that not just so we can make a profit, but so that we can become in a position of leadership to own these houses, and we can dictate the price. Just because everybody else is, raising the prices, this could be in a position where we can keep the prices at a decent amount and literally help people out whenever times do get bad. To me, that's what I thought the assignment was. But those those people didn't really hear what I was saying. That's fine. But I really do think that, there was another story where a guy was in Detroit, I believe, doing the same thing. He's basically buying people's houses that were basically about to lose their house or on foreclosure. So he bought the houses off of them, and instead of like reselling it for a profit, he sold the houses back to them and let them rent out the house until they basically, could pay back or afford their mortgage at a more cheaper price. And he did that to basically create stability within his own community. Now I get that people aren't, not everybody's going to believe that, because, like I said, your ego is all about that dollar. Um, you know, the thing about ego is that it just never stops. Like, I mean, you could earn $1 billion, and your mindset, if you're greedy, is going to keep saying, well, how can I get 50 billion? Why do you need that much money to live a good life? There's other things that's out there besides just buying something, or looking like you got some status. Like, sometimes just knowing that you made a positive impact, and you help that single mother out, or you help that elderly couple out that could barely make it. It's like sometimes that's just worth doing. So, like I said, I know some people are going to ignore this or not care, but for the ones that do, I challenge you all to go look at that movie. It's a Wonderful Life. Go watch it with you and your kids or your family. And, like I said, it's snowing right now. I ain't got nothing to do. So, like, just go look at that movie with your family. And then when you get done, ask yourself, which character am I? Am I George Bailey, or am I Mr. Potter? And if you are Mr. Potter, ask yourself, why am I Mr. Potter? Is it because of greed? Is it because, I'm just trying to get more money? Again, I challenge you with that mindset to understand that you're going to be held accountable for not taking care of the people that you were overcharged with. That's what I know. So just a little bit of venting on that, guys. Like I said, I'm barely making it myself. That's the other thing. Me just being a server, there's a lot of people that I've served over the years that even now they come back after, maybe coming back here 5 years ago or 6, 7 years ago, but they still come back because they had a positive impact. Well, when they come back, they're like kind of shocked of how slow it's been. And they're asking me like what the problem is. And the only thing I got for them is that we're just in a recession right now, that people are really tight with their money right now. And it's everywhere. It used to be everybody would come in. It didn't matter how slow it was or not in the city. Like, we still had numbers coming in, but now it's just not like that anymore. And for all those people that say like, well, just work harder or this and that, look, I got 24 hours in a day. I'm not going to kill myself over no daggum dollar. I'll tell you that right now. And I'll tell you why. My mother, because she worked herself to death, she ended up getting sick over getting breast cancer because she worked herself to death. And that's what happens when you put that dollar before. Like, sometimes your health is better than some money. You don't know what you got until you lose a foot or lose an eye or whatever, just because you're trying to chase that dollar so much. I'm already working my butt off. You know what I mean? I remember in Exodus when Pharaoh was mad with Moses. The children, the Hebrews, then they were already working their tails off in terms of being slaves in Egypt, but because Pharaoh didn't like what Moses was trying to explain to him, he doubled their workload. And I think that's equivalent to what America's done. Like, they're just doubling the workload just because they can, even though we're already working our butts off. So, there's some things to think about. I wasn't really planning on making this video, but I just kept seeing stuff online that was just irking my soul, to be honest. I mean, I'm thinking like, man, like I'm working and I still can't get ahead. I'm making these videos and I still can't get ahead. You know, it's crazy right now. So, but anyways, just some things to think about. I hope that you all have a good day and a good weekend coming up. Just stay prayed up and keep your eyes on y'all, and God bless y'all. Peace.